I recently lost my hardcore world, so it's time for a fresh start. This time, stranded on an island. Well, 2 islands. Over the next 500 days, I'm challenging myself to completely transform the islands into the ultimate survival base. Last episode, I captured these 2 zombie villagers and put them in boats, where today, I'm going to be putting them to use by creating a villager trading ship for unlimited enchanted books. The first step is to cure the villagers and start breeding them because I've been feeling lonely recently. The second step was to get a trident. Well, it's at this point that I realized my mic wasn't picking up the entire time. The next step, though, is I'm going to need some crops, like potatoes or carrots, to get these guys to breed once they do become villagers. So I have some carrots over here, but I don't think that's going to be enough. So I'm going to plant these back, and I'm going to get a hoe, and probably make a giant crop circle over here. So now I have the carrots planted around the pond right here, and I'm also going to collect some of this wheat as well, because I can also use bread in order to breed the villagers. All of that give me a stack of 21 wheat, which I can make into 28 pieces of bread. That's not too bad. This villager is actually a villager now, but he also has a friend, and I'm gonna need to get rid of this guy. I wasn't recording it at the time, but this guy gave me a really bad jump scare earlier. Okay, we got rid of him. And that means this guy is probably a villager as well. And he is. Perfect. So now we have 2 villagers, and I can just grab the lead. And I'm hoping I can push him around the island with no casualties. So we're traveling with this guy. And I can also go ahead and lead this guy as well. Got my little nunchucks going on. Well, I'm gonna have to hurry up because it's turning night. And these guys want to be a little bit complicated. And I should be able to lead this boat while also going around with this guy. And I really don't know how I'm going to get these guys up here, to be honest. I think the best thing to do with them, for now, is to make a little hole right here and put them in it. Okay, I have their little hobbit hole made. It's very, very spacious in here. Well, they should feel very lucky to live in here. This is a great space. There's a guy with a trident out here. If he hits the villagers, I'm going to actually crash out. Okay, one thing that bothers me about this game is I always lose my trident when I throw it because there's so many of them. Okay, I found it. Now back to what I was doing. This is going to be this guy's home for now, and then I'm going to bring this guy in this hole as well. So I've got these villagers in their hobbit hole right here. I got some doors, I got some fence gates so they can't leave. In order to make these guys breed, I'm going to give them some bread, and I'm hoping that 28 is enough to at least get it started. So let's get these guys out of boats, and let's give them some bread. I'm not sure actually how much bread they need to start breeding, but it seems to be working. I know there's another villager in this cave, but I think the pain of bringing him up just for one more villager is just not worth it. It's not going to be worth it. I'm going to be honest. In the meantime, though, I think I want to go mining. I'm low on diamonds and my tools are extremely broken, and I want to at least repair some of them. So, I think while the villagers are breeding, I'm going to go on a little mining trip. Before I go though, I also forgot I can give these guys a few carrots as well, and I'm hoping this gives us at least a couple more villagers. And to go mining, I'm going to go down this cave that I haven't really explored. This guy thinks I'm down to rescue him, but I'm actually not. I don't really care about him. Angry villager aside, this is actually one of the craziest caves I've ever been in terms of diamonds. I mean, this cave is insane. This isn't even the beginning of it. I mean, the amount of diamonds I'm finding on this one trip would actually shock you. I suggest you play the seed for yourself. I've done a little bit of mining right here, and it seems I found a trial chamber and some diamonds, so that's pretty cool. I have fortune 3, so I'm up to 31 diamonds, and I've only found 3 veins. But this trial chamber could be absolutely huge when it comes to gathering copper and snow, apparently. Okay, I don't have a long-range weapon, so I don't think I'm going to explore this just yet, but that's definitely going to come in a future episode. In fact, I'm going to save the coordinates of it right here. If you guys want me to explore that in the next episode, make sure to leave a like, you know. Ooh, more diamonds. What? One incredibly successful mining trip later, and the sun's coming up, and now I can check on the villagers. I mean, that was one of the most successful mining adventures I've ever had in this game. A stack and a half diamonds. I was only in that cave for like 5 to 10 minutes. That was insane. Now I can see what's going on in here. Just some stalking. That's it. No babies. Okay, well, that wasn't very successful, but at least I got a ton of diamonds. I feel so much better now. So later on in the episode, I'll probably use these to make some better tools. I guess it's time to actually start gathering materials. So I might do something a little bit bold here and make a really good axe. I have an efficiency 4 book, a mending book, an unbreaking 3 book, and a silk touch book, which would give me pretty much a perfect diamond axe if I were to take advantage of those. Now, I'm level 27 though, and means I'm pretty close to level 30, which means I can get a level 30 enchant out of a diamond axe before I were to apply any of these books. So I'm gonna make a new diamond axe, and I'm going to work on getting up to level 30. I feel like I've gathered most of the quartz that I could grab. I have to be very, very careful not to die. Found a pretty easy way down though, and I'm just going to collect a ton of nether quartz until I get up to level 30. Also, I'm going to need quartz for today's episode, so I need it to be in here at some point anyways. And with this last quartz vein, I am up to level 30. Let's see what I can get on this axe. Fortune 3. Wow. Well, that completely throws a wrench in my plan. This is gonna sound absolutely ridiculous, but a channeling trident could be so fun, and I have loyalty 3 on it too. I just need to repair this thing, so the mending might honestly go on this trident, and that could be such a fun thing to use in this series. And it has loyalty 3, which means it's going to come back to me, right? Oh, this is such a fun thing. I rarely use tridents, so I'm pretty excited about it. But right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this pretty overpowered axe, just using the anvil right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first get the efficiency 4, and then I'm going to get unbreaking 3, and it would add fortune. So I need to add silk touch first, I think. If I get the fortune axe, would that let me put silk touch on it? Of course it doesn't. But if I put silk touch on this axe, I need 17 levels in order to combine the two. So I'm going to need to gather up a few more levels for this. I'm up to level 17 now, and it's time to make this diamond axe a silk touch efficiency 4 unbreaking 3 diamond axe. That's perfect. That's exactly what I need for this episode. And that's because for this build today, I'm going to need thousands of dark oak and spruce blocks. I need around 50 stacks of each, and that doesn't even include the cost of crafting down trapdoors and fences. So to build up the ship today, I'm going to need to chop down an entire forest worth of both dark oak and spruce. But since I didn't have those nearby, I just went back and forth placing saplings. So while I was collecting one wood type, the other one was growing behind me. I also needed a good amount of bamboo, as I really wanted to use the yellow wood type for an accent block on the ship, so I created a very necessary bamboo forest and chopped it all down. I'd also hoped that the villagers were breeding up while I was collecting the materials, but sadly that wasn't the case. I'm ignoring the problem for now to deal with later, and I'm crafting down all the dark oak and spruce and defenses, trapdoors, and whatever wood type block can come to mind. I probably crafted it. And in the meantime, I've been messing around with the villagers over here, but it seems they don't want to mess around with each other because they're not breeding, and I really don't know why. I've given them so many carrots. So I really don't know what to do. This is the whole point of the episode, is to get villagers, and it's just not working. I don't know. The only solution that I could come up with is I've read that trading with the villagers tends to make the process go a little bit faster. So let me grab a lectern and try to get a mending villager real quick. Density. Even my villagers are trying to give me density. I spent a lot of time re-rolling the villager trades to try and get myself a cheap mending book, which took a lot longer than I wanted. This took me so long, but I finally got mending. It's a 3 trade. I'm just going to take it. Now, I don't actually know what that does for the villagers, but I'm going to give them some more carrots in hopes that they, I don't know, start breeding, because this is actually so frustrating. I now have 2 stacks and 34 carrots. These guys are employed. They have plenty of beds, plenty of space. This guy should be happy because he can afford rent now with the 6 emeralds he has. Their living space has been extended by so much. I've raised the rent. Oh my god, they finally did it. And I don't know why. I gave them some wheat seeds and they finally You did it. Hey, get away from me, dude. With the villager situation finally figured out, it was time for me to gather up the rest of the spruce that I would need for today's build. And I actually got a tad lucky with a wandering trader that spawned with pale oak, but sadly it did not have a sapling. I have bred up a ton more villagers, and I'm going to give them some more beds as well, so we can get a few more of them. I'm just going to fill up another row right here of beds, I think, and that should be good. So that should give us, what, 4 more villagers in here? And then I can start building up the ship after I collect some more materials. The next material I need is smooth quartz. This will be for the sails that I'm going to make for the ship. I have a decent amount of quartz in here, and then I should have some quartz in the rebirth over here. So I can make 2 stacks of quartz. I don't think that'll be enough, and I also need smooth quartz. So sadly, I think I'm going to have to smelt this stuff down. While that is smelting up, though, I also need a good amount of jungle wood, so let me grab this from the chest that I have. And some of these are going to need to be stripped down. I am not done smelting stuff down though because I need a pretty good amount of glass and I don't really have enough sand for it, so it's time to gather up some more sand as well. I went underwater and gathered up sand for glass, then gathered some oak wood from the forest on the other island and crafted the sand I smelted down into stained glass. And now I have every material collected except I need to make a pretty good amount of iron bars and I need to make some note blocks. Now with everything you see in these chests, I can start on today's build. To get started on this villager trading ship, I first need to create the bottom of the ship using dark oak full blocks, slabs, and stairs for that little bit of extra shape. The next part of this build though is going to be used out of bamboo. So I'm just going to go around with a layer of bamboo on top of the dark oak that I've already placed down. Placing down bamboo is actually extremely satisfying if you've never done it. I've brought up the bamboo and connected it around the sides. The next thing I want to do is add in a floor, as this will be the interior of the ship where the villagers are going to be, and I want to give them a floor to stand on so they're not just in this pool of water down here. With the floor in, I want to go up more with some dark oak, but I want to add a little bit of texture with the dark oak log and the planks as well going around. The dark oak log does a very good job of blending in very, very subtle. I love the dark oak log texture. I don't really use it that often. I'm also going to add trapdoors every other block going around, and this will kind of just look like those parts of the ship that have the cannons, but they're all closed. I couldn't actually fit in a ton of cannons in the ship, but I think that's the best I can do. But for now, I'm just going to go around with the dark oak, and again, putting those trapdoors going every other block. I almost forgot one other block that'll blend in perfectly with the dark oak, and that should be over here somewhere. It is the normal spruce log texture. I mean, if you just look at these logs side by side, they blend in so well. This one's just a little bit more gray, almost like a smoky kind of texture to it. I went around with the dark oak to create a dark base with lines of bamboo going through it as if it was painted on later, working around the back, creating a captain's chambers with white stained glass, and continuing around the ship with the dark oak and bamboo, making sure to add in some smaller details using some signs and fences, and really trying to get the shape right, where now the main part of the ship is looking pretty good. I now have a very, very large portion of the main part of the ship done, and I've been getting attacked this entire time by drowns. I actually have gotten 2 more tridents. This one's almost like halfway full. I've gotten so many tridents. It's actually kind of nice, I guess, that they're dropping them. My sword's almost broken, though, because of how long I've been fighting. Up here at the front of the ship, there is a detail that I want to add, so I'm going to place some temporary blocks right here. And another temporary block here, because I want to add in some hanging signs to connect to whatever this thing is called, and some trapdoors on top of them. And I'm going to do the same thing on that other side as well. And I can remove those temporary blocks once again. It's going to be hard to get a good look at this, so I'm going to fall down here. So now I have this built up so far. I think it's looking really good. The biggest thing I need to do now is add in a floor or a main deck part of the ship, just using some spruce logs. I could also go in and add in some normal planks to give it some texture up here. Before I build any more of this deck, I'm gonna actually grab some torches just so I don't make a mob spawner down there. That would be a disaster. I actually have 4 lanterns just sitting right here, so I'm gonna grab those instead. That should work well enough. I actually can't believe this. There's another one. There's another trident guy. This is actually crazy, dude. If I get another trident, that's gonna be absurd. I didn't get it, okay. But I want to go down here and light it up so no mobs spawn, and like I don't want a creeper to spawn and blow it up. That would make me so upset. And now I have the dock in with the spruce planks and spruce logs, the stripped version. I noticed on the reference image that I used that there was this space similar to what I had on my starter boat. I don't even know what this is called, but they had some, I think, smaller boats right here. I'm gonna put some temporary blocks right here to make this boat, I think, like this, and then a slab in the middle, and I can remove these blocks and put a sign right there. So it's a very, very small boat. I have these small boats built up, and I want to grab those white carpets and put them on top to act as a tarp over top of the boats for now. It'd be nice if it was a lighter colored white, but we don't have that, so I'm gonna have to do this. From a distance, it does give the boat a little bit of a pop, so I like it. It seems we have a cat just stuck right here. You're welcome. Oh, okay. Just like a real cat, you know? Just like a real cat, just getting on shelves. Actually, I'm gonna grab some fish and try to get this cat. Perfect, we got a kitty cat. Oh, it's the port cat. It's amazing. And there's gonna be no creepers over here now. I'm back on the ship though, and I want to add in a little detail here for this part of the ship. I think one of these is supposed to have like a bell on it, which would honestly be really cool to have a bell up here, especially for the villagers. But I think that's a pretty cool touch up here. I was thinking for the staircase, I can go down with some dark oak fence gates and open them this way to look like a railing. And what I want to do is put some spruce signs behind it to connect it to the actual staircase right here. So I grabbed some spruce signs and I'm going to put them behind these fence gates, and I think that's looking pretty good. It's hard to figure out a good way of putting a railing without it taking up too much space, and I think this is a pretty good way of doing that. I don't think it looks that bad. I'm in the phase of the project right now where I'm wanting to add some small details, and right now I'm adding some barrels around the ship for storage, and getting started on the captain's chambers by creating a staircase and creating the shape of the room, where I also wanted to add in a few cannons on the deck. Of course, with me adding in a bunch of the small details, I have to allow them to steer the ship, so let me put a grindstone on top of a hanging sign like that, and I think that looks pretty nice. I love the way it looks when you're looking down here. Now, there is one thing I need to add, and that is, of course, the sails, so the ship isn't just a floating blob of wood. So I am on the last phase of this build, and that is adding in the sails and all the small details around that really bring this build to life. This is where I really got carried away with adding details like signs and hanging signs that I think do such a good job for the end product. But I am absolutely in love with this ship design. I think it looks so good. I do want to go out here just to get a better look at it to see what I've created. I think this looks so nice. I love this boat. It's so cool looking. Now, there is definitely some details I can add. I didn't really want to over texture it over here. So something I do want to do is what I've always done, and that is add some signs around. And in a certain section like this, the birch blends in very well with the bamboo, and the bamboo sign just looks like a different variation of texture from the bamboo planks that are around. And yeah, I love the way the birch blends in. It just looks like a kind of washed out paint of where the bamboo is, and I love that. I love that look so much. And there we go. I've added some signs on this side as well, and it's looking so good right here. If you're wondering why the ship is just right here, I do plan on bringing the dock back over this way and putting more buildings over here, so this placement will make more sense in the future. And I'm checking in on the villagers right now. It looks like everything's going pretty well in here, which means we have a villager for every single bed. This will be good enough for now. Such a strange thing that we do in this game, isn't it? So odd. One more thing about the ship, though, is I think this is one of the most fun things in terms of just adding detail. There's so many different ways you can add detail to these boats. I think It's such a fun thing to mess around with. So if you haven't built a boat like this before in Minecraft, I definitely highly recommend building something like this because it really is a fun kind of experiment. Now, there's not an interior yet, not even a floor right here, but I'll get to that actually right now. In here, I've got a little bit done. I added in a floor and some walls and a little bit of a ceiling, but I want to go through in here and add some smaller details, of course. I want this back wall to have a bunch of the chiseled bookshelves like this. And same thing for these spots right here along the wall. And there's a space in the middle of the floor that I want to use some jungle and oak logs to make a pattern, something a little bit random to look like a carpet. I'm thinking since this is like the chambers of the ship, I want to put a bed here, maybe as a bench or an actual bed right here. And I'm going to add a desk here with some stairs and a slab like that. But I want to also get another sign to put behind it to make it look like a chair. So boom, now there's a chair right there, and I can even put a sign on the side like that, but I don't think it's necessary. To add another detail in here, I can also put some fence gates open like that with some barrels to look like some shelves. And the only thing that's really lacking in here is there isn't really any color. So what I want to do is make some paintings. That means I'm going to have to take another trip back to the main island, where I can start shearing some of these guys, not the pig, that wouldn't be very useful to me. And if I make a few sticks, I can make a few paintings. I also have a couple item frames, and I have an item frame mod that I've shown in this video that makes it so it's invisible if you right click it. So I want to figure out something to put in an item frame to give the captain, similar to what I have in my boat. Maybe a compass could be pretty cool to put in there. I'm thinking a couple paintings could look really cool in here though. Honestly, I kind of like the way that one looks. I just like the design of it. It's a little bit too big, but I think it looks fine right there. I just decided to put this guy along the wall right there. I think that looks pretty cool. Adds a little bit more color and texture in here, which I think looks good. I'm thinking on this guy's desk, I can make a oak pressure plate like that to make it look like a piece of paper or something, and then an item frame with the compass inside of it. I can shift and right click it and right click it a few more times, and that is looking pretty cool. And I might as well give him a nice little flower pot right there. Iron bars could look cool right there. I don't know exactly what for, but it adds something. I don't know. And this is a very simple interior, but I think it's better than nothing, and I kind of like it. I'm gonna leave it like this for now. Now down here is a little bit more complicated. There's a little bit more to do down here before I get the villagers in. I've done a very simple interior in here for now, just adding some very big areas where there's some storage down here and a nice prison cell, because in the like Pirates of the Caribbean movies they had these in the ships, and I thought it was kind of fun to put that in here. Also, something that just happened, I walked by and I put these on the ground to make it look a little bit more messy down here, I guess, and that jump scared me so bad when I was walking through here. I need to put some doors in. Sometimes these small details go a very long way, because I think this is feeling a lot more fortified down here now and a lot more interesting. I had to move this cage over a little bit, and it doesn't really connect in the same way in some of these areas, but I think that looks fine. I don't think it's anything crazy, but I do like it down here a lot more now. I really think the next step in this video is to get some villagers over here finally. And for this, I'm going to need a ton of lecterns, which means I'm going to need a ton of books, which means I'm going to need some paper. So I want to break this sugarcane. 5 bookshelves, which is 5 lecterns. Down here, I have a decent amount of light gray beds that I'm going to put in the ship as well for the villagers. To lock in some trades, I'm going to need some emeralds and some books, which means I'm going to need to get some paper, as that will be the easiest way for me to make emeralds right now. And I think in one of these chests, I have a bunch of sugarcane. Luckily, I started collecting some over time because I had a feeling I was going to need paper. So if I just come over here and admire the new creation and go into the villager cave right here, whatever you want to call these guys, they're having meetings over here on the beds. But what I want to do down here is actually lock in some trades with these guys. It seems like they want to sleep though. Okay, I get it. I get it. Actually, before I sleep real quick, I hear a zombie and I think he's literally right next to me. What I'm going to do is actually get this guy in a boat, and I'm hoping the iron golem doesn't kill him. What I can do is actually use this zombie over here. Oh my god, he's actually really powerful. That sword is not playing around. Please come up here. He's actually so strong. Oh my god. That guy is super, super strong, which will be good to kill the villagers. But let me get him in a boat first. What I can do now is grab some leads and get this guy somewhere where I can start curing more villagers to get better trades. So this guy, if I lead the boat, I want to put him down here somewhere. I'm thinking I'll first create another chamber for these villagers to be transported to, somewhere over here, where the zombie will kill them, and then I can transport them back here, where I can then cure them back. So right here I've created a hole which I can dig up to the surface, and the zombie's actually right there. Perfect. And just so the iron golem doesn't like kill him or anything, I'm gonna put like a couple slabs right here. He shouldn't be able to though. So let me get this guy in the hole, and then I can talk about my plan with him. Sir? Okay, perfect. Oh no. How do I break the lead? Oh wait, I think the way to do it is to just walk. No. No, how did that happen? That seems insane. Why aren't leads breaking when I want them to break? Okay, we're gonna have to come up with a different plan. So pretty much what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put a boat over here and lure this guy this way, and then try to trap him over here somewhere. Now this guy is extremely dangerous, and I don't want to die, so I'm being very careful around this guy. He is so strong with that sword. I don't know what enchant that has, but it must be like sharpness 10. How did a villager get out? Hold on a second. When did that happen? I don't know when that happened. Whatever, he's gonna be out here for now, I guess. I'm just gonna let him roam around. He's replaceable. If he wants to come in here, he can. What happened? Oh my god, I left the cave open. This is actually a complete disaster. Okay, I'm gonna have to get these guys in boats. What? Huh? Get in the boat. Perfect. So I've gotten most of them in boats, except this one guy. Please don't go back in the cave. Thank you. Okay, I think I've gotten every single villager in a boat. I'm just gonna have to push these guys in the hole. I don't think I can, though. Right now, I'm just gonna push these villagers in the hole. Oh my god. Honestly, I don't want this guy to get into any trouble, so I'm gonna get this guy over to the ship as soon as I can. What I'm gonna do with this guy is try to get him in the boat somehow. I think I'm gonna have to use minecart and rails. I think that's actually just gonna be the best idea. Luckily earlier I made some rails and minecarts, so I'm gonna use this to get them up. Anyways, what I want to do is make a rail system that will go up and into the ship. It seems I've made it just one block too short though. So I've got this villager up into the ship, and I've lit it up as well, so any mobs, no mobs will spawn up here and kill him. So the mending villager is hopefully safe for now. Now, at this point, is I want to get every single one of these villagers into their own minecart and create a system for them to all become zombie villagers. So I think the way to do this is to get a villager in a minecart. Perfect. And then I can have him go like that, and then I can break that rail. And then I think if I put a trapdoor like that, and then get another rail system that goes right next to this one. So what I'm trying to do now is getting villagers in their own spots like this. If I lift these up, they can, once one of them turns into a zombie villager, infect all of each other, and then I can lift those up, and then they cure, but they can't hit each other. So that's kind of the goal right now. So now I've gotten all of the villagers in a line. I'm hoping this works the way I want it to. The villagers aren't like perfectly aligned though, so I'm a little worried about it because this guy is literally in the middle of a trapdoor. So what I'm gonna have to do is make sure that this guy goes through here. I'm hoping this works the way I want it to. He should start dying any second. So I'm gonna leave him there for now. And what I need to do is make some more golden apples. I have 14 apples in here, and now over at the ship, I should have a ton of gold to use. I have a stack of gold, which will give me 8 golden apples, and I am up to 9. That is more than enough. I ate a golden apple because this guy's not moving, so I need to get him to move. He's not moving. Please move. Thank you. He moved all of the villagers with him, but that honestly works. So if I lift these trapdoors up, he should start infecting them. And the importance of this is I only need to use 1 weakness potion. Okay, I hid myself behind a wall, and he is starting to infect the villagers, and it should start going in a line. And the last one is officially a zombie villager. Now all I have to do is throw 1 splash potion of weakness. It'll affect all of them, and boom, I can lift these trapdoors up. They should not be able to infect each other again, or at least I hope so. The only issue I'm running into is that I don't think I have enough rails to pull something like this off, since I only have 12 more, and I've already used the rest of my iron. So the rail system only goes to here. Ooh, this guy became a villager, and he's not getting hit. And this guy too, I'm only worried about this guy. Perfect. All of the villagers are cured, except this one lonely guy, but it should be cured in just a second. Just a second. Perfect. With everybody cured up, I can close this guy off and get them transported. But I'm going to need to take a little trip to get some more iron to get more rails. I've collected up a little bit of iron, and I've made now 49 more rails. Also, since I've been asking for names for everything every episode, give me a name for this cat. The port cat. I think I'm going to leave him right here. I now have a way for the villagers to get up. Now I just need to push these villagers up. I don't have any more powered rails, so I think I'm going to have to give this guy a little push. And he is now in the boat with his best friend. I want to let this guy go, and I want to see if there's any way for him to leave this boat. And he's a fisherman, actually. I forgot about that. That's a different problem I'll deal with later. In fact, I'm not going to deal with that problem. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to lock these guys in with certain trades while I'm here. Oh my god, it happened, guys. Somebody with a Loyalty 3 Trident is attacking me, but it's a thunderstorm, and I want to use my Trident in this episode to do something fun. Please, I want to have fun. Oh, there's a creeper over there. I can get a charged creeper. Oh, yeah. I feel so powerful. Oh my god, there's 2 charged creepers. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, that's all I wanted. Now I'm gonna go to bed. Or I have all of the librarian villagers up here now, and that guy's roaming around free. He hasn't escaped yet, so I don't think there's a way for them to get off the boat. I don't think there's a way for them to get up here, so I think I can let these guys free. But first, I'm going to go through what these guys have. This guy is an efficiency 5 for 1 emerald. That's amazing. This guy is unbreaking 3 for 6, feather falling 4 for 1 emerald, a mending villager, of course, and then we have a silk touch one. And again, I can get more of these guys in the future, but this is what I'm going to work with for now. I think I'd rather get these guys a little bit away from the edge and then let them wander free, though. I'm also going to put their workstations under here, and actually if I put more beds in here, I might have an opportunity to breed more villagers up here, but they should hang around there for most of the day. And now this build is pretty much done. I think it's amazing. It's functional. You get villagers up here. They're, you know, manning the ship. It's awesome. This was actually a really, really fun episode. I hope you guys enjoy the build. I think it looks awesome. There's a chicken in the middle of the water. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Wait, hold on. Somebody just walked over the note. Somebody walked over here. Oh, that's actually hilarious. That's so funny. Was it you? I think it was you. The Unbreaking 3 villager. It was you, wasn't it?